Hello, everyone, and welcome. In our last session, we got a glimpse of what JavaScript is all about. Today, we're going to roll up our sleeves and learn how to actually write JavaScript code, save it, and see it come alive in our web browser. It's going to be fun. Now, let's open the course files folder and drag the linking to HTML folder into the VS Code icon. Great, you should now see a file named index.html in your editor. An HTML file is like the blueprint for a web page. JavaScript often works hand in hand with HTML to make web pages interactive. That's why we usually start with an HTML file even when we're focusing on JavaScript. This HTML file provides the stage for our JavaScript to perform on. Now, how do we add JavaScript to this HTML page? There are a couple of ways, but let's start with the most direct method. Inside our HTML file, we can use a special tag called the script tag. Anything between opening script tag and a closing script tag is treated as JavaScript. Let's try adding one. Find the body section in your index.html file. Just before the closing body tag, let's add our script tags. Perfect. Now, inside these script tags, we can write our JavaScript. Let's do something really simple. We'll create a variable to store a greeting message. And then we'll use a built-in JavaScript function called alert to display that message in a pop-up box in the browser. So I write, let my greeting equal sign, double quotation mark, hello, world explorers, and semicolon. Alert my greeting, semicolon. You'll notice I ended each line with a semicolon. In JavaScript, semicolons are used to signal the end of a statement, while modern JavaScript is sometimes forgiving if you miss them. It's a very good habit to include them. It makes your code clearer and can prevent some tricky bugs, so I recommend always using them. Okay, our first script is written. How do we see it in action? We need to open our index.html file in a web browser. Go to the folder where your index.html file is saved and simply double-click it. It should open in your default web browser like Chrome, Firefox, or Edge. And you should see a pop-up box with the message, hello, world explorers. Pretty cool, right? You've just run your first piece of JavaScript embedded in an HTML page. Click OK to close the alert. Now, alerts are helpful for quick messages, but for some complex things or when we want to see data without an intrusive pop-up, we use something called the developer console. Let's try to display a calculation. If we just type a calculation, where will it show up? Let's modify our script. Keep the migrating part, but after the alert, let's add a simple calculation. Okay, just right here, I write 150 plus 250, semicolon. Save the index.html file. Now, go back to your browser where the page is open and refresh or reload the page. You'll see the alert again. Click OK, but where's our 400? It's not on the page, is it? That's because just doing a calculation in a script doesn't automatically display it. When you type directly into the console in a previous lesson, the console would immediately show the result of any calculation. But when the code is in a file, JavaScript doesn't automatically print every result to the console. We need to explicitly tell it to. To do this, we use a special command console.log. Whatever we put inside the parentheses of console.log will be printed to the browser's developer console. Let's change our script to use console.log. So I write console.log 150 plus 250, semicolon. And for more, I write console.log our adventure is just beginning, semicolon. Let user points equal to 75, semicolon. And again, console.log user points, semicolon. Save the file. Now, back in your browser, refresh the page. You'll get the alert. Click OK. Now, we need to open the developer console. In most browsers, you can do this by right-clicking anywhere on the page and selecting Inspect or Inspect Element. Then look for a tab that says Console. You should now see the number 400 printed in the console. And below that, our adventure is just beginning. And then user points 75. The console.log command is your best friend for debugging and understanding what your code is doing behind the scenes. It's like having a little window into the mind of your script. So to recap this bit, when you're typing directly in the console, results often appear automatically. But when your JavaScript code is in a file, like inside our script tags here, you need to use console.log to send information or results to the console. Now, putting JavaScript directly inside HTML like this is called Inline Script. It's fine for very small things, but imagine if we had hundreds or thousands of lines of JavaScript. Our HTML file would become very long and messy. It's much better to keep our HTML, the structure, separate from our JavaScript, the behavior, I mean. So how do we do that? We create a separate file just for our JavaScript. These files usually end with .js. Let's go back to our code editor in the same begin here folder where your index.html is and create a new file. Let's call it app.js. Make sure the extension is .js. Now, let's take all the JavaScript code out of our index.html file. Cut everything that's currently between your opening a script and closing a script tags. And paste that code into your new empty app.js file. Save your app.js file. Now, back in index.html, your script tags are empty. We need to tell this HTML file where to find our JavaScript code. We do this by adding src attribute, which stands for source, to the opening script tag. The value of the src attribute will be the name of our JavaScript file. It's generally a good practice to place your script links at the very end of the body section in your HTML. This is because the browser loads HTML from top to bottom. If your script tries to interact with HTML elements that haven't been loaded yet, it can cause errors. Placing scripts at the end ensures all HTML elements are available. Our script tag is already here, so let's just add the src attribute. You can delete the closing tag if you're not putting any code directly inside it. But for linking an external file, you still need both an opening and closing tag or a self-closing tag if the context allows. But the standard is like this. Make sure to type the file name exactly right, app.js. If app.js is in the same folder as index.html, then just the file name is enough. If it was in a subfolder, say called JS_files, you'd write src equal to JS_files/app.js. But for us, it's in the same folder. Save your index.html file. Now, let's test it. Go back to your browser and refresh the page. You should see the Hello World Explorers alert again. And if you check your console, you should see the 400. Our adventure is just beginning and user point 75 messages. It works just like before, but now our HTML is clean and only contains the structure. And our JavaScript logic is neatly organized in its own app.js file. This is much better for bigger projects. If it didn't work, for example, if you don't see the alert, here are a couple of common things to check. Double check that you spelled app.js correctly in the src attribute of your script tag in index.html. Even one wrong letter will stop it from working. Make sure app.js is in the exact same folder as index.html. If it's not, the browser won't find it with just src equal to app.js. Ensure you've saved both index.html and app.js. If there's a syntax error in your app.js file, the script might not run. So that's a huge step. You now know how to write JavaScript connected to an HTML page and how to run it in your browser. You've also learned the importance of console.log for seeing what your code is doing and how to keep your code organized by using external JavaScript files. You're now perfectly set up to dive deeper into the JavaScript language itself. And that's exactly what we'll start doing in our next session. See you there.